She said she's going to see other people but told me not to forget her. I shut her out completely, and now she's desperate. I never thought love could sound so casual until she said it. Lena sat across from me in that small coffee shop where we used to meet after work. The same table near the window, the same smell of caramel latte, but everything felt wrong. She stared at her phone for a while before putting it down like she was about to drop a bomb. "I think I want to date around," she said. I blinked, not sure if I'd heard right. "What?" She leaned back, her tone light, almost rehearsed. "I just want to see other people for a bit. I feel like I've been missing out." My throat felt dry. "So, you want to break up?" "No," she said quickly. "Not exactly. I still love you, Ethan. I just want space. You know, freedom. But," she paused, twirling her straw, "don't move on, okay? I might come back if I realize you were the right one." I stared at her, trying to read her eyes. They didn't look guilty. They looked free. "You might come back?" I repeated, my voice barely steady. "What am I supposed to do in the meantime?" "Wait, maybe," she said softly. "Or just focus on yourself." "I don't know. I'm confused too." I forced a laugh that sounded more like a choke. "You're confused? Lena, we've been together for 2 years. You met my family. You told me you saw a future with me." She sighed. "And I meant it. But people change, Ethan. I'm changing. I just don't want to feel tied down." I wanted to slam the table, to shout something that would make her stop talking, but all I did was stare at the ring on her finger, the one I gave her on our anniversary. "Do you want me to take that off?" she asked suddenly. "No," I muttered. "Keep it. It'll remind you what you're throwing away." Her lips twitched. "That's unfair." "Unfair?" I leaned forward. "You tell me you want to date around, but I should stay loyal just in case you realize I'm worth something? What do you think I am, your backup plan?" "That's not what I said," she whispered. "It's exactly what you said," I snapped. My voice cracked. "You don't want to lose me, but you don't want me either." Lena looked away. "You're twisting my words." "No," I said, my voice breaking softer this time. "You just don't like hearing them out loud." The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut skin. People laughed at nearby tables. The barista shouted an order. The world kept spinning while mine froze. She reached out, fingers brushing mine. "Ethan, please don't be mad. I just need to figure things out. You're important to me. I just need to see what's out there." I pulled my hand away. "You don't figure out love by sleeping around until you get bored, Lena." She flinched. "That's not fair. Neither is this conversation." Her eyes softened for a moment. "I thought you'd understand." "Understand what?" I asked bitterly. "That you're too scared to lose me but too selfish to stay?" Her jaw tightened. "You're making this harder than it has to be. Because it's not supposed to be easy." I almost shouted, then lowered my voice. "You don't just turn love off because you feel trapped. You talk. You try." She looked away again, her voice barely above a whisper. Maybe I already did. That hurt more than anything else. I sat back, silent for what felt like forever. My mind was screaming 1,000 questions, but none made it past my lips. Finally, I said, "So this is it?" "It's not goodbye," she said quickly. "I just need time. Please don't hate me." "I don't," I said truthfully. "That's the problem." Her eyes met mine then, and for a second I thought she'd change her mind. But she just stood up. "I'll text you, okay?" "Don't," I said. She froze. "What?" I said don't. "If you're leaving, leave. Don't half-love me." Her lips parted, but no words came out. I saw guilt flash across her face, then something colder, relief. She grabbed her bag and turned away. I didn't stop her. The bell above the cafe door jingled, and then she was gone. I sat there for a long time, staring at the empty chair across from me. My reflection in the window looked hollow. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just felt empty. Ryan called me that night. So? How'd it go? I laughed bitterly. She wants to date around. But I should wait for her, just in case. He paused. You're kidding. I wish. What did you say? I told her okay. He groaned. Ethan. I know, I cut him off. Don't say it. I already feel like an idiot. Man, you don't owe her loyalty after that. You should. I can't, I said quietly. Not yet. I can't process it. Ryan sighed. She's keeping you on a leash. Don't let her. I know, I whispered again. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of my bed staring at my phone. I scrolled through old photos, her smile, our trips, the stupid matching bracelets. Every memory felt like a knife twisted deeper. I typed a message, I hope you find what you're looking for. I deleted it. Then I typed another, I'll be here if you change your mind. Deleted that too. I didn't send anything. Hours passed. The room grew darker, quieter. My phone stayed still. No message from her. By midnight, the ache turned into a dull burn. I threw my phone on the floor and buried my face in my hands. How can she be so calm? I whispered to the empty room. How can she just switch off? I remembered her last words, please don't hate me. And for some reason, I couldn't. I hated myself instead. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up to sunlight creeping through the blinds, my phone buzzing with notifications. None were from her. I checked her social media. She'd posted a photo at a bar, laughing with friends. The caption read, "New chapter." My stomach twisted. I stared at that picture for a long time before I whispered to myself, I guess I was just a prologue. It wasn't anger I felt. Not yet. Just disbelief, like I was watching someone else's heartbreak unfold in slow motion. That morning, I walked outside and felt the cold air sting my skin. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt real. I thought maybe she'd text. Maybe she'd change her mind. Maybe I mattered. But the day passed. Then another. And another. Nothing came. That's when I realized the truth. Betrayal doesn't always come with shouting or slamming doors. Sometimes it comes quietly, in a cafe, with someone saying, "Don't move on." And you don't even notice your heart breaking until the silence starts to echo. The first week felt like waiting for a text that never came. Every morning I reached for my phone before opening my eyes, hoping to see her name. Nothing. Just empty notifications and the usual spam messages. By the second week, I'd memorized the sound of silence. Ryan called almost every night. You still haven't blocked her? No, I muttered, scrolling through her page again. I'm just checking in. Checking in? He laughed bitterly. You mean torturing yourself? I'm not, I said, even though I was. It's not like I'm stalking her. I just want to see if she's okay. She's fine, Ethan. She's posting every day. New pictures. New people. You're not checking on her, you're checking how replaceable you were. His words hit like ice water. I didn't respond. Ryan sighed through the phone. You're her safety net. She's dangling you just close enough so you don't move on. That's not true, I said too fast. Then why hasn't she called? I didn't have an answer. After we hung up, I stared at her latest photo. She was at a rooftop party, holding a drink, laughing. Her hair looked different, shorter. There was a guy next to her, Marcus something. Their shoulders touched. The caption said, "Freedom feels nice." I laughed under my breath. Freedom, huh? I tossed my phone away, but minutes later, I picked it back up again. I checked her story. Another clip. Same guy. Same smile. I whispered to myself, maybe it's just a rebound. Maybe she's trying to make me jealous. I wanted to believe that lie more than anything. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying our last conversation in my head, her saying she wanted space, her asking me not to move on. The way she said it so easily, like she'd already decided who she'd be next with. Days bled together. I went to work, came home, scrolled through her photos like they were evidence of a crime. I wasn't angry yet. I was just lost. One evening, Ryan dropped by uninvited. "You look like hell." "I feel fine," I lied. He sat down beside me on the couch. "No, you don't. You haven't shaved, you've got takeout boxes breeding on the table, and you're wearing the same hoodie since I saw you last week." I smirked. "Thanks for the pep talk." "I'm serious," he said. "You're drowning, man. She's not coming back." I looked at him sharply. "You don't know that." He leaned back. "You really think someone who wants you would post herself with another guy every night?" "She's confused," I said. "She told me that." Ryan's expression hardened. "No, she's comfortable. You're giving her power she doesn't deserve." "Maybe I just love her," I snapped. "Maybe you just hate losing," he said quietly. That shut me up. He stood up and grabbed my phone. "You need to stop looking at this." "Give it back," I said, reaching for it. "No," he said. "You're feeding the wound. Let it bleed out." I pulled it from his hand. "You don't get it, Ryan. She didn't cheat. She didn't lie. She just left." He sighed. "And somehow, that hurts more." When he left, I sat in the dark, staring at my screen again. I told myself I'd check just once. Just once more. Her new post said, "Learning to love myself again." Marcus had commented a heart. That was the first time I felt something break inside me. I threw my phone onto the bed and whispered, "I hope he breaks you first." Then I felt disgusted with myself for even saying it. By the third week, I stopped talking to Ryan as much. Every time he called, I let it ring out. I didn't want logic. I wanted delusion, the soft kind that keeps you believing someone still cares. One night, close to midnight, my phone buzzed. My heart stopped when I saw her name. Lena. The message read, "Hey. I miss you." My hands shook. I stared at it for a full minute before replying, "I miss you too." She replied fast. "Not like that. I just don't want to lose you. You're important to me." My chest tightened. I typed, "Important? You dumped me to find yourself." She replied, "I didn't dump you. I just need space. Why can't you understand that?" I stared at the dots blinking on the screen, anger and heartbreak fighting for air. I wrote, "Because you're asking me to stay while you walk away." She didn't respond for 10 minutes. Then, "I still want you in my life. Please don't disappear." I laughed bitterly, alone in the dark. "You want me around when you're lonely, huh?" I whispered. I typed, "You can't keep me as a backup plan." Message seen. No reply. The silence after that text was louder than any fight we ever had. I stared at the ceiling, feeling something inside me drain completely. Ryan texted later that night, "Still awake?" I replied, "Yeah." She texted. His reply came quick. What did she say? "She misses me but not like that." Translation, she misses control. I didn't answer. I couldn't. He was right. I turned my phone face down and tried to sleep, but my mind kept spinning. Every memory replayed itself, the way she laughed, how she used to look at me like I was her whole world. Now I was just a safety net she didn't want to cut loose. By morning, I felt hollow. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just stared at myself in the mirror and said out loud, "You're her maybe." It hit harder when I heard my own voice saying it. I went to work that day, pretending to be fine. I smiled at people. I answered emails. I told Hannah from accounting I was just tired. But the truth was simple. I was tired of waiting for a ghost to text me like I still mattered. That night, I opened her message again. "I don't want to lose you." I typed one word, then "don't." But I didn't send it. I deleted the thread, turned my phone off, and sat in the dark until the quiet started screaming again. That's when I realized silence isn't peaceful when you're waiting for someone who already let go. It's punishment. And I was serving it willingly. New beginnings. That's what the caption said. 2 words that managed to detonate something quiet inside me. The photo was of her, Lena, standing too close to Marcus. His arm around her waist, her head tilted just enough to say comfortable. My thumb hovered over the screen like I could erase it if I pressed hard enough. Ryan's voice cut through the silence. You saw it, didn't you? I didn't look up. She didn't waste time, did she? Ethan, he sighed, and that sigh held months of watching me break in slow motion. You knew this was coming. No, I muttered. I hoped it wasn't. Ryan sat across from me, pushing his coffee aside. She's been stringing you along since day one, man. You were her backup plan, not her person. I laughed, one of those hollow sounds that hurt more than crying. You think I don't know that? I just didn't want to admit it. He leaned forward. Then admit it now. You deserve better. My phone buzzed. The same notification tone that used to make my heart race now made my stomach twist. I unlocked it anyway. A message from Lena. Hey. Don't be mad, okay? You said you wanted me to be happy. I stared at it for a long time, feeling that old mix of anger and sadness choke me. My fingers typed before my brain caught up. You think that's happiness? The typing bubbles appeared. Stopped. Appeared again. Then her reply. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just needed to move on. Needed to? I whispered, my voice cracking. You needed to announce it to the world? Ryan saw my expression. What did she say? Exactly what you'd expect. I dropped the phone on the table. She's sorry but not sorry. Then do it, Ryan said firmly. Do what? Block her. I froze. The word hung there like a challenge. You think it's that simple? He nodded slowly. No, it's not. But it's necessary. My chest tightened. What if she texts again? What if she? He cut me off. What if she doesn't? Ethan, she's already moved on. You're the only one still waiting. The truth stung more than I wanted to admit. I picked up my phone again, scrolling through her photos, her stories, her new life. Every smile looked like a lie I used to believe. She's not even thinking about me, I murmured. Exactly, Ryan said softly. So why are you still thinking about her? I stared at her profile picture, the same one from when we went hiking months ago. She'd kept it. Maybe that's why I kept hoping she'd come back. Some stupid part of me believed that meant something. My hand trembled as I opened her chat. Block. A red confirmation box appeared, are you sure? My thumb hesitated. I don't know if I can. Ryan reached across the table, his tone gentle now. You've already survived her leaving. This is just you choosing peace. I swallowed hard. Peace feels like betrayal. No, he said. Peace feels like taking your life back. I exhaled, my heart pounding in my ears. Then I pressed block. The chat vanished. Just like that, years of memories disappeared into digital nothingness. For a second, I felt nothing. Then everything. Done? Ryan asked quietly. Yeah, I whispered. Everywhere. Good. I stared at the blank screen, expecting guilt, regret, or some ache that would crawl back under my skin. But there was only silence, heavy, strange, almost sacred. I whispered to myself, maybe peace doesn't come from closure. Maybe it comes from silence. Ryan nodded. That's the first honest thing you've said in weeks. I managed a small smile. I just blocked the girl I thought I'd marry. Honesty's all I've got left. He gave a faint laugh. You'll thank yourself later. When he left, I sat alone in the dim light of my apartment. The quiet was unnerving. No message tones. No scrolling reflex. Just the hum of the fridge and the soft ticking of the clock on the wall. I walked to the mirror. My reflection looked older, not tired, just emptied. "This is what letting go looks like," I whispered. My voice sounded strange, like it belonged to someone braver. The night air drifted through the window, carrying that faint city hum. Normally, that noise would drown out my thoughts, but tonight it just echoed how still everything had become. My phone buzzed once more, a system notification: "You may miss messages from blocked contacts." I laughed. Good. That's the point. I turned it face down and sat on the edge of my bed. My body didn't shake the way it used to. My hands weren't searching for something to hold. There was an ache, yes, but it wasn't begging for attention. It was quiet. Bearable. I closed my eyes, replaying every word she'd ever said, every "I love you," every "I just need time." They didn't sound romantic anymore. They sounded manipulative. I'd mistaken confusion for affection. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I murmured into the dark. Not to her. To myself. I didn't cry that night. I didn't refresh her profile or check if she'd untagged me. I just lay there, hands folded over my chest, feeling the strange weight of calm. For the first time in months, I wasn't waiting. I whispered one last thing into the silence, maybe to the universe, maybe to the part of me that still wanted her back. "You don't need her to be free." And just like that, the room stopped spinning. I slept that night without checking my phone, not once, not even when I woke up halfway through the night out of habit. The urge was gone. The noise in my head had dimmed to a quiet hum. Maybe tomorrow would hurt again. Maybe it wouldn't. But tonight, I finally chose myself. And for the first time, that was enough. When I blocked Lena, I thought it would end things. Instead, it started a storm. The next morning, I woke up to a dozen notifications from unknown accounts, all messages that somehow sounded like her. "Ethan, why are you ignoring me?" one read. Another, "I just want to talk. Don't be childish." And my favorite, the one that made my jaw clench: "I thought you cared about me." I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the message request box. My chest tightened, but it wasn't heartbreak this time. It was anger. It was satisfaction. Ryan noticed the look on my face when I walked into the cafe we always met at. "Don't tell me she's crawling back already," he said, smirking. I slid my phone across the table. "You tell me." He read the messages, chuckling halfway through. "Oh, man. This is karma with a front row seat." I forced a small laugh, but it came out hollow. "Feels weird. Like I should be happy, but I'm not." "That's normal," Ryan said. "You're detoxing. She's your withdrawal symptom." "Withdrawal," I repeated softly. "Yeah, that's what it feels like." He leaned back. "Don't cave, Ethan. She's only reaching out because you took her power away." I looked at the phone again. "I know. But part of me still wants to read every word. Every fake apology. Every "miss you" that means nothing." Ryan frowned. "You're too kind for your own good. She's not sorry. She's panicking." "Panicking?" "Yeah. You were her safety net. The guy she could always fall back on while she tested other waters." The words hit like a slap. I didn't reply. That night, I lay in bed, phone face down beside me, the silence louder than anything I'd ever heard. My mind wouldn't shut up. "Maybe she's really sorry," a voice whispered inside me. "No," another replied. "She's scared. Scared of losing the one person who still made her feel important." My chest ached again, that familiar, gnawing pain I thought I'd escaped. I wanted to text her, to ask why she did this to us. But I didn't. I stayed still. The next morning at work, Hannah, my coworker, noticed something was off. "You okay, Ethan? You look like you haven't slept." I gave a weak smile. "Didn't sleep much. Just thinking." "Thinking or overthinking?" she asked, half smiling. I exhaled. "Maybe both." She leaned on my desk. "Let me guess. Girl trouble?" I froze for a second before nodding. "Something like that." "Ah," she said softly. The kind that keeps you awake and ruins your appetite? Exactly. Her tone was light, but her eyes were calm, no judgment, no pity. Just quiet understanding. "Wanna grab lunch later?" she asked. "Might help you forget for a bit." "Sure," I said without hesitation. I could use the distraction. That afternoon, as we sat across from each other in the company cafeteria, she asked, "So, what happened?" I hesitated. She said she wanted to date other people but didn't want me to move on. Hannah blinked. "Wow. That's selfish." "Yeah," I said. But I didn't see it then. I just kept waiting. She tilted her head. "And now?" "Now she's trying to reach out through everyone she can. Fake accounts, mutual friends. It's insane." "She's panicking," Hannah said gently. "Because you finally stopped waiting." I looked at her, surprised. "That's what Ryan said." "Well, Ryan's right," she replied with a grin. "Sometimes people only realize what they had when they lose control over it." I smiled faintly. "Maybe. But why do I still feel bad?" "Because you cared. And caring doesn't shut off like a switch." I stared at my coffee, her words echoing in my mind. "I hate that she still has space in my head." "That'll fade," she said softly. "But not today." After lunch, I sat at my desk, scrolling through my phone. Another message from a new account. "Please, Ethan, I just want closure." I locked my phone instantly. Closure. That word again. As if it could fix months of lies and emotional games. Ryan's voice replayed in my head, "Don't cave." Hannah's words followed, "Because you cared." It hit me, I didn't owe her closure. She owed me honesty, and she never gave it. Later that night, Ryan called. "You okay, man?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "She's still trying to reach me." He laughed. "Of course she is. You messed up her little comfort zone." "Feels strange," I said. "I thought blocking her would make me feel free, but now I feel guilty." "Don't," he said firmly. "You're just feeling the ghost of who you were with her." "The ghost," I repeated. "Yeah. That's exactly it." I went silent for a while, then said, "She wrote, 'I thought you cared about me.'" Ryan snorted. "You did care. That's the problem. She used that care like a shield." I sighed. "I guess I'm just angry I let her." He paused, his tone softening. "You're human, Ethan. Don't turn your empathy into regret." When we hung up, I sat there for a long time, staring at the blank screen of my phone. Then, for the first time, I smiled. Not because I was happy, but because I realized something. Love can be poison. It seeps in quietly, masks itself as warmth, and when it's gone, you can't breathe without it. But maybe I was learning to breathe again. The next morning at work, Hannah waved as I walked in. "Hey, early today," she said. "Yeah," I replied. "Trying to start fresh." She smiled. "That's good. One small start at a time." And for the first time in months, I believed that maybe, just maybe, I could. When the first rumor reached me, it felt like someone had punched the air out of my lungs. "She said what?" I asked Ryan, trying to laugh it off. He looked uncomfortable. "Man. She's telling people you were, controlling. That you used to check her phone and blow up her messages." I froze, forcing a calm I didn't feel. "That never happened." "I know," he said quickly. "Everyone who knows you knows that. But you know how gossip works, people believe the loudest voice." I clenched my jaw. "And hers has always been the loudest." Ryan leaned closer. "You gonna confront her?" I shook my head. "No. I'm done playing her game." He sighed. "She's pushing you, Ethan. She wants a reaction. Then she'll get silence." I said it like I meant it, but my hands were trembling under the table. That night, I scrolled through my phone again, messages from mutual friends, screenshots of group chats. Words like toxic, unstable, clingy. Each one burned. I whispered to myself, she's rewriting the story. And in her version, I was the villain. At work the next day, I tried to focus on the screen, but my mind kept wandering. My stomach twisted every time a notification popped up. Hannah noticed instantly. You're quieter than usual. Bad day? I gave a bitter smile. You could say that. Seems I've become the main character in a story I didn't write. Her brows furrowed. Rumors? Yeah, I said. Apparently I'm some kind of jealous control freak. She frowned. That's ridiculous. Anyone who's spent 5 minutes with you knows that's not true. Doesn't matter, I muttered. Truth doesn't trend. She crossed her arms. So what are you gonna do? Nothing, I said. I won't give her the satisfaction of watching me break. Hannah studied me for a moment, then smiled softly. That's strength, you know. Feels more like suffocating. Still strength, she said. Silence can be power too. Her words stuck in my head long after she walked away. Silence can be power. Later that evening, Ryan called again. Bro, she's losing it, he said. Marcus and her had a blowout at that bar near campus. I sat up. What happened? She accused him of flirting with someone. He told her she was paranoid. Whole place heard them yelling. A cold satisfaction crept through me, followed by guilt. Guess karma's working fast. Ryan laughed. Faster than I expected. Marcus blocked her after that. She's spiraling. I went quiet, staring at the wall. I don't even feel happy about it. You don't have to, he said. Just take the win and move on. But I didn't feel like I'd won anything. The next day, I ran into Emily, Lena's old roommate, near the cafe. She hesitated when she saw me. Ethan, she said softly. Hey. I forced a polite smile. Hey, Emily. She looked around, lowering her voice. Listen. I don't want to get involved, but Lena's not doing great. I frowned. Not doing great how? She's been crying, picking fights, blaming everyone. Marcus broke up with her, and now she's saying you ruined her life. I let out a bitter laugh. Of course I did. Emily sighed. I'm just saying, she's losing control. People are starting to see it. Then maybe they'll finally believe me, I said quietly. She'll burn herself out, Emily said. She always does. Yeah, I replied. But she'll take anyone she can down with her first. Emily looked guilty. I should have stopped her earlier. It's not your fault, I said. She's good at playing the victim. As she walked away, I felt an odd calm settle over me. That night, I sat in my apartment, laptop open, half-finished report staring back. I couldn't concentrate. My thoughts circled around Lena's voice, all the things she might be saying, all the people believing her. Then Hannah texted, "You free for a call?" I hesitated before replying, "Yeah." A moment later, her voice came through the line. "You sound tired." "I am." "She's still spreading stuff?" "Yeah," I admitted. "And I'm just sitting here, pretending it doesn't bother me." "You're doing the right thing," she said. "You don't owe the world your side of the story. The people who matter already know the truth." "Feels like I'm being erased," I whispered. "You're not," she said. "You're just being tested." I stayed silent, her words echoing in my head. After we hung up, I walked to the mirror. My reflection looked different, not broken anymore, just tired. Worn down but standing. For the first time, I realized how much I'd changed. A few months ago, I would have begged Lena to stop, to see reason. Now, I didn't even care to explain myself. The next morning, Ryan met me for coffee. "Heard Emily talk to you." "Yeah," I said. "She said Lena's falling apart." He grinned. "Karma's a patient artist, my friend." I smiled faintly. "Maybe. Or maybe silence paints better." He laughed. "You and your poetic comebacks." I shrugged. "Guess pain makes poets out of us all." Ryan leaned forward. "You proud of yourself yet?" I took a sip of my coffee, feeling its warmth spread through me. Not proud, I said. Just peaceful. He nodded. That's better than revenge. As we left the cafe, I checked my phone. Another unknown account had sent a message request. I didn't even open it this time. I just deleted it. Walking home, I felt lighter. Not because the pain was gone, it wasn't. But because I finally understood something. Karma doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it whispers through silence, and the ones who wronged you end up hearing it the loudest. And as I stepped into the quiet of my apartment, I smiled to myself. For the first time, the silence didn't scream. It sang. Months went by. Life slowly stopped feeling like a battlefield. I woke up earlier, ran longer, lifted heavier. I could feel myself getting stronger, not just in body, but in mind. Damn, Ethan, you look different, Ryan said one morning when we met for coffee. I feel different, I replied, taking a sip. Felt like I finally exhaled. Ryan smirked. You've been carrying that storm for months. Guess it's about time you let it rain somewhere else. I laughed softly. Yeah. Rain. That's one way to put it. Even at work, things felt lighter. Hannah noticed, of course. You're smiling more, she said one day. And not that fake smile. The real one. I shrugged. I guess I'm realizing life doesn't stop just because someone else is childish. She smiled. Exactly. You're finally living for you. Feels strange, I admitted. Like I'm learning to breathe again. You are, she said simply. And don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Meanwhile, rumors about Lena had started to fade. But I didn't need to hear it from anyone, the universe had its way of delivering updates. Marcus cheated on her, publicly. Friends began distancing themselves, tired of her drama. Emily, always quiet and careful, messaged me one evening. She's realizing what she lost. Not that you need to know, just saying. I stared at the message longer than I should have. A pang of satisfaction and something deeper, relief, passed through me. I didn't reply. See? Ryan said when I told him later. Karma doesn't always announce itself with a bang. Sometimes it whispers. I nodded. Whispers, yeah. I think it's enough. Days blurred. I kept myself busy, running, working, learning to cook again. Hannah and I grew closer, though nothing romantic yet. She had this way of talking that reminded me life could be normal, gentle, and unbroken. One night, as I lay in bed, my phone lit up. A message request appeared. My heart jumped before I saw the sender's name. Lena. Can we talk? I didn't breathe for a few seconds. Staring at it, I felt the old urges, curiosity, anger, the tiny hope that maybe she had changed. But another voice, quieter but firmer, whispered inside me. Some people don't deserve explanations. Just distance. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours. The cursor blinking in the empty reply box was almost mocking. I could type. I could reply. I could let the old storm back in. I didn't. I pressed delete. The message disappeared into digital oblivion. And for the first time, I felt complete. Not victorious. Not triumphant. Just free. Ryan, sitting across from me the next morning at our usual coffee spot, noticed the calm in my face. No texts from her? Deleted it, I said. Didn't even open it. He raised an eyebrow. Wow. That's impressive. I don't need her words, I said quietly. Not anymore. You've changed, he observed. It's not the old Ethan reacting to everything. You're untouchable now. I laughed softly. Not untouchable. Just tired of being hurt by the same person. I've spent months building this wall, Ryan. Finally strong enough to live behind it without fear. Hannah called later that evening. You sound lighter, she said. I am, I replied. It's like, the storm finally moved on. She chuckled. Good. You deserve that. As I hung up, I reflected on everything that had happened. Lena's messages, her manipulations, the rumors, Marcus cheating, friends abandoning her, it all felt like a distant memory now. I didn't gloat. I didn't feel anger. Just clarity. I walked around my apartment, flexing muscles I hadn't noticed before, feeling the rhythm of my heartbeat, the steadiness of my breath. My body felt alive again. My mind, too. In the mirror, I saw someone different. Someone resilient. Someone who had endured pain, heartbreak, manipulation, and had chosen peace instead of vengeance. Peace. Strange word for the chaos that had defined my life for months. I whispered to myself, some people don't deserve explanations. Just distance. The thought felt like armor. Protective, unyielding, but not heavy. I could breathe. I could move. I could finally focus on myself. Days later, Emily texted again. She's spiraling further. Just thought you should know. I didn't reply. I stared at the phone for a moment, smiled faintly, and set it down. Life felt lighter already. Hannah and I met for lunch, talking about random things, about movies, about work, about plans for the weekend. The world felt normal, almost too normal, after months of chaos. You seem happy, she said gently. Content, I corrected. Not invincible, not healed completely. Just content. She reached over, lightly touching my arm. Content sounds better than heartbreak. I smiled, staring out the window at the city. Yeah. It does. The next week, I woke up early, went for a long run, lifted heavier than before, and cooked myself a proper breakfast. No messages, no disturbances, no Lena. Just me. I thought about her only in passing. Not bitterness. Not longing. Just observation, what she had lost, and what I had finally gained, freedom. One afternoon, Ryan called. So, any regrets? None, I said. Not a single one. Blocking her, ignoring her, deleting her messages, best thing I've done for myself. He laughed. Told you. Silence speaks louder than any argument. I nodded, staring at the sunlight spilling across my apartment. Months of chaos, pain, manipulation, and rumors had led to this. The phone buzzed once more, a notification from an unknown account. I picked it up, saw the sender. Not her. And I smiled. Not a pang. Not a flicker of old emotion. Just relief. Some people really don't deserve explanations. Just distance. And for the first time in a long time, I felt nothing but peace. I didn't expect to see her. Not today. Not here. Yet, as I walked into the cafe for my usual afternoon coffee, there she was, sitting at a corner table, scrolling through her phone. Lena. Months had passed, and the tension of our past felt distant, like smoke from a fire that had finally burned out. She looked up at me, and our eyes met. A brief flicker of recognition crossed her face, followed by something I hadn't expected, uncertainty. You, she started, her voice breaking slightly. You look happy. I smiled faintly, slow and deliberate. I am, I said. Every word calm, measured, intentional. Silence can be sharper than any dagger. Her fingers fiddled with the edge of her cup. I didn't think I'd see you here. Neither did I replied. She shifted in her seat, nervous energy radiating from her. You've changed. Life changes people, I said simply. My tone was neutral, almost clinical, yet the calm in it carried weight. She laughed nervously. Yeah. I guess. You seem peaceful. Different. I leaned back, letting the moment stretch. Silence can be louder than speech. I wanted to say. I'm sorry, she finally said, voice low. I paused, letting it hang in the air. Not because I didn't hear her, but because silence can deliver justice more effectively than words. I never meant to, she began, but I cut her off softly. I know, I said. But knowing doesn't always fix the damage. Her eyes flicked down, shame and regret mixed with something else, uncertainty, fear. Did you ever miss me? I looked at her carefully, letting my calmness act as a shield. I did, I admitted. Until I realized missing you was hurting me. Her lips parted slightly, as if to argue, but she didn't. The words hit her with quiet force, more piercing than anything I could have shouted. I didn't know, she whispered. You did, I said, softly but firmly. You knew exactly what you were doing. She looked small then, worn out in a way I hadn't seen before. The audacity, the games, the manipulation, all gone, leaving her fragile. I thought you'd come running back, she murmured, almost like a confession. I stopped running a long time ago, I replied. I chose peace over chaos. And silence over arguments. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for her cup. I don't know why I'm like this. You wanted control, I said gently, not cruelly. Over me, over everyone around you. But control isn't freedom. It's fear disguised as power. She swallowed hard. And you finally found freedom? Yes, I said simply, letting each syllable land. Freedom isn't just being away from someone. It's learning that you don't need them to feel whole. She stared at me, a mixture of pain and realization washing over her. I lost you. I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I let the weight of silence speak for me. Then I said softly, you did. But not because of me. Because of the choices you made. Her eyes filled slightly, but there was no anger. Just quiet understanding, the slow acknowledgement that the tables had turned. You seem strong, she said, voice barely audible. I had to be, I said. I stopped letting someone else's chaos define my happiness. She nodded slowly. I guess I thought I'd always have you. You didn't, I replied. And that's okay. Not everything belongs to us. Some things are meant to teach us lessons. Her shoulders slumped. I don't know what to say. Then don't, I said, calmly. You don't owe me words. I don't need them anymore. She looked at me one last time, a faint trace of admiration and regret in her gaze. You really have changed. I have, I said, letting my calmness convey strength. And I've realized that silence can be the loudest voice. That growth can be the sharpest revenge. She swallowed again, looking down at her hands. I never thought you'd be okay without me. I leaned back slightly, my voice soft but unwavering. I'm more than okay. I'm better. She blinked, processing. Better, without me? Yes, I said, letting the word carry all the weight of months of healing. Because better doesn't mean I don't remember. It means I've learned. I've moved forward. You haven't. Her lips quivered slightly, but she didn't speak. Her silence mirrored my own, only now, she understood its power. Do you hate me? She asked quietly. No, I said, softly but firmly. Hate is wasted energy. I've spent months learning peace, not revenge. And peace doesn't need hate to exist. Her eyes flicked up, searching my face, looking for some flicker of old anger, old hurt. There was none. Only calm, only clarity. You make it sound so easy, she whispered. It isn't, I admitted. But it's necessary. You can't control someone else's peace. You can only destroy your own if you try. She nodded slowly, almost too slowly. I don't know if I can ever. You can't, I said gently. Not with me. I've chosen distance. Not because I'm cruel, but because I respect myself enough not to let chaos in again. She looked smaller than she had in months, fragile in a way that made the satisfaction rise quietly inside me. Not joy from her pain, but from my own growth. The emotional power shift was complete. I'm sorry, she said again, softer this time. I know, I said. And that's enough. For both of us. She stayed quiet, tears brimming but not falling. I didn't flinch, didn't comfort, didn't retreat. My calmness, my silence, had become a weapon, not of cruelty, but of growth. After a long pause, I stood, picking up my coffee. I should go, I said softly. She nodded, words failing her. I walked away slowly, letting the space between us speak volumes. Every step felt lighter than it had in months. The past was gone, the storm faded, and all that remained was the peace I had fought so hard to achieve. Behind me, I heard her sigh, almost like an admission. I didn't look back. There was nothing to see, nothing to reclaim. My growth was mine alone. And as I stepped into the sunlight outside the cafe, I realized for the first time that true power doesn't come from yelling, arguing, or demanding. It comes from calm. From silence. From knowing your worth. For the first time, Lena looked small. Not because I diminished her. But because I had elevated myself. And that was enough. I got a message from Emily one morning, short and careful. You won't believe what Lena did. I raised an eyebrow. What now? I typed back. She tried to get back with Marcus. He didn't even hesitate. He used her, then left. I sat back, letting the news sink in. Part of me felt a quiet satisfaction, a justice long overdue, but it wasn't joy. Not really. Just acknowledgement, a confirmation that actions have consequences. Figures, I muttered aloud. Emily's next message came quickly. She's spiraling. She's alone. Seems like she finally realized she lost everything. I closed my eyes. I remembered the nights I cried over her, the months of confusion and pain. I remembered the old me, desperate, angry, hopeless. That version of me would have jumped at this news, would have read her posts obsessively, would have replied to prove her wrong or correct her lies. But not now. I went online later, almost casually, and saw it. A post from Lena, long, dramatic, barely coherent. Sometimes, you don't realize who loved you until they stop waiting. I didn't see it before. I'm sorry for everything. I read it twice, slowly. I felt a flicker of sadness, but not for her. Not really. It wasn't empathy for her mistakes. It was nostalgia, for the me that used to care too much, that used to wait, that used to hurt because of someone else. I whispered softly to myself, that was me. Ryan called that evening, checking in. Have you seen her post? Yeah, I said. Long, dramatic, vague apology. He chuckled lightly. Guess someone finally got the message. I shook my head, though he couldn't see it. The message isn't about her. It's about me. What do you mean? I mean, the old me would have replied. Would have begged for closure. Would have said something, anything. The new me just watches and moves on. Ryan was quiet for a moment. That's growth, man. That's strength. Maybe, I said softly. Or maybe it's just realizing life doesn't pause for anyone. Not for me, not for her. I went for a run later, letting the rhythm of my steps carry away the tension. Each stride reminded me of the months I'd spent rebuilding myself, emotionally, physically, mentally. Lena's post didn't sting. It didn't provoke. It existed, and I acknowledged it, then let it go. Emily texted again. She's deleted a bunch of friends, blocked a few, seems lost. Just thought you should know. I didn't reply immediately. I sat on my couch, staring at the sunlight spilling into the room, thinking about all the times I had let her chaos define me. How easy it would have been to get pulled back into her orbit. But not anymore. Hannah called that night. You okay? You seem lighter. I am, I said. It's like watching a storm pass without getting wet. Good, she said. You deserve this peace. I smiled softly, holding the phone between my hands. It's strange, isn't it? How empathy works. I don't celebrate her downfall. I just understand it. Understand life, understand myself. She laughed gently. Sounds like closure to me. Maybe, I whispered. Closure isn't fireworks. It's quiet. It's knowing that some people and some stories aren't meant for you anymore. I thought back to her post again. Sometimes, you don't realize who loved you until they stop waiting. I remembered my old self, waiting, hoping, hurt. That person had been me, fully exposed, vulnerable, willing to sacrifice peace for someone else's approval. I took a deep breath. Not anymore, I said aloud. Not anymore. I opened my laptop and started writing an email to my work colleague about a project, focusing entirely on the task. Lena's post faded from my mind, replaced by spreadsheets and deadlines. It felt liberating. A few hours later, I walked past a cafe we used to frequent. Memories tried to surface, the old ache pushing for attention. I paused briefly, glanced inside, and smiled faintly. The place hadn't changed. I had. I realized then that empathy isn't always soft. It can be sharp, too. Empathy for myself, empathy for who I was, understanding the lessons of heartbreak without letting them dominate my life. Ryan texted, "Want to meet up for a drink?" I typed back, "Sure." Peace can use company. Later, as I walked toward our usual spot, I glanced at my phone. Another notification from an unknown account popped up. I didn't even look. I swiped it away. Some part of me wanted to check, just in case it was Lena, just to feel the old rush of emotion. But I didn't. Because that rush belonged to someone I used to be, not me anymore. When I met Ryan, we laughed, joked, and talked about plans for the weekend. Life felt light, ordinary, good. Normal. The way it was supposed to feel after months of chaos, rumors, and heartbreak. Later that night, lying in bed, I thought about Lena one last time. Not with anger. Not with longing. Just with acceptance. Her mistakes, her spiraling, her regrets, none of it belonged to me anymore. I whispered softly, almost like a mantra, "That's life." And in that simple phrase, I found closure. Not loud, not dramatic. Quiet. Firm. Enough. Because the old me would have responded. The new me just lets life be. The past is gone. The lessons remain. I drifted to sleep with that thought, finally at peace with the storm that once ruled my heart. And for the first time in months, I slept without checking my phone, without waiting, without expectation. Because some endings aren't loud. They're silent. And silence, I realized, can be the most complete kind of victory. I wake up earlier these days, sunlight spilling across my room. It feels strange, almost foreign, to greet the morning without dread. I stretch, take a deep breath, and smile. Quiet mornings, simple routines, these are luxuries I'd forgotten I could have. "Hannah," I say one afternoon, as we walk through the park, I'm actually enjoying this." She glances at me, eyebrow raised, smiling. "Enjoying peace? That's dangerous, you know. You might get addicted." "Maybe I already am," I joke, though my voice carries a calmness I hadn't had before. We stop near a bench. She sits, I lean against it. "You've changed," she says softly. "It's like, nothing can touch you." "That's the point," I reply. Revenge doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes, it's becoming untouchable. She laughs lightly. "Untouchable, huh? Sounds poetic." I shrug. Feels poetic. Feels peaceful. The first few weeks of real peace feel awkward. I journal daily, writing thoughts I'd once swallowed, emotions I'd once let consume me. "I'm learning to breathe again," I write one night. Not because someone left me, but because I chose myself. Ryan calls occasionally, always teasing, always supportive. Still untouchable, he asks one morning. I am, I say. And it feels normal. Strange, but normal. Hannah and I grow closer, slowly. No rush, no reopening old wounds, just easy conversations and laughter. We cook together, sometimes argue playfully over the recipe, and I feel something I hadn't in months, contentment. I spend more time with my family, listening, joking, sharing quiet dinners. They notice the change, the absence of tension, the calm in my voice. My father smiles. You look lighter, he says. I am, I admit. Finally lighter than I've been in years. The memories of Lena, of betrayal, of sleepless nights, don't haunt me anymore. They're there, sure, but distant, like shadows that no longer control my movements. One evening, I write in my journal, sometimes, peace isn't loud. It's quiet. You don't need a battle, a fight, or an apology to feel free. You just are. I pause, pen hovering, thinking about the months of chaos, manipulation, and emotional turmoil. How far I've come, how patient I've been with myself. Do you miss the old chaos? Hannah asks one night, reading over my shoulder. No, I reply softly. The old chaos almost destroyed me. This, calm, quiet, untouchable, this is real. This is life worth living. We walk together under the city lights. I feel the air on my face, the rhythm of our steps, the warmth of companionship. No manipulations, no games, just the simplicity of being. I write one last note for the night. Revenge doesn't always come from hurting others. Sometimes, it's healing yourself so completely that nothing anyone does can shake you. Sometimes, it's becoming untouchable. I close my journal, smiling faintly. Peace feels like a friend I once feared I'd never meet. But here it is, quiet and steady, warming me from the inside. I drift to sleep with Hannah's laughter in my mind, my family's love in my heart, and the calm knowledge that I've finally reclaimed my life. And for the first time in a long time, I feel whole. I was cleaning out my old phone today, scrolling through messages I never sent. Most were mundane, but one stopped me cold. Lena's name flashed on the screen. I tapped it, heart tightening slightly. There it was. A draft I had never sent. I hope you find someone who loves you like I did. I stared at it, fingers hovering over the delete button. Months ago, I would have agonized over sending it. I would have crafted a perfect apology, a perfect farewell, a perfect closure that she didn't deserve. I laughed softly, shaking my head. That was the old me, I whispered. Ryan texted me just then, you okay, man? Yeah, I typed back. Found an old message. Made me realize how far I've come. He replied, good. You deserve peace. I smiled, setting my phone down. Peace. It used to feel foreign, impossible, like chasing smoke. But now it was tangible, something I could feel with every breath. Hannah called, laughing about some work mishap. You're glowing, she said. Maybe I finally am, I replied. It's amazing what happens when you stop waiting for people to change and start focusing on yourself. I picked up my phone again, fingers hovering over that old draft. I hesitated, then tapped delete. No hesitation this time. No longing, no regret. Just certainty. Goodbye, I whispered softly, not to her, but to the old version of myself who needed closure from someone who never deserved it. I leaned back in my chair, watching the sunset through the window. Light spilled across the room, warm and steady, unlike the storms I'd endured. Hannah texted again, dinner later? Sure, I typed. I'll bring the good mood. I chuckled at myself. Me, bringing good moods now. The thought would have been ridiculous months ago. Ryan called later, joking about weekend plans. You coming, or still hiding from life? I'm not hiding, I said, smiling. I'm living. He laughed. Sounds like someone finally figured it out. I sipped my coffee, warm and comforting, letting the silence stretch. It was not empty. It was full of calm, full of reflection, full of self-respect. I thought again about the message I never sent. That draft represented my old self, waiting, hurting, clinging. And now, It was gone. Better late than never, I whispered. Better me than someone who can't see my worth. I checked my phone one last time. No notifications from her. None from the past. Just life moving forward, uninterrupted, unbothered. I smiled, fully, and said aloud, I already found someone better, me. The words felt heavy and light at the same time. Heavy with the weight of lessons learned, light with the freedom of peace finally earned. No closure was needed. No dramatic confrontation, no words exchanged. Just me, fully intact, untouchable, and free. I stood, stretching, and walked to the balcony. The city lights twinkled below, indifferent and beautiful. I felt a rush of calm power, the kind that comes only from surviving your own storms and choosing yourself above all else. I am enough, I said softly, letting the words echo in the quiet night. I always was. The wind brushed against my face, a gentle reminder of life moving on, of moments still to be lived, and of the strength I had found in myself. No more waiting. No more pain. No more drafts unsent, words unspoken, or hearts manipulated. Only me. Only now. Only peace. And that was victory.